And so good morning again. If you don't know me, I'm Reverend Elisha Christopher. I am the spiritual director of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Cruz. Yes. I do use they and them pronouns. My ancestors come from all over the world, some indigenous to this continent, and those that we know immigrated here, came here from Ireland, Scotland, Austria, and Holland. I want to send greetings from our friend Reverend Sunshine Michelle in Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. Many of you she's come down here many times. I was one of the co-hosts of the 80th anniversary gala for Oakland Center for Spiritual Living last night. And it was quite a celebration. Bishop Yvette Flunder was one of the keynote speakers at that event, and if you don't know who she is, look her up, you want to. And one of the things I want to just say is I love the collective energy and synergy of being part of a greater movement. You know, we have this center here in Santa Cruz that we are part of, but we're also part of a global movement of the Centers for Spiritual Living. And I was having a conversation with Reverend Dorica, who is the minister at East Bay Church of Religious Science in Oakland yesterday. And we were talking, and she was like, yeah, we're going to be singing the Gayatri mantra tomorrow at our center as our chant. And if anyone was here at meditation, that was the first chant we sung this morning coming out. And it was like, oh, we're going to be chanting that tomorrow too. And then usually when I'm getting ready on Sunday morning, I usually tune into one of the centers on the East Coast or in the middle of the country, and I'm watching CSL Dallas this morning, and what song did they sing but a song version of the prayer of St. Francis? And I'm just going, it's like there's one mind here swirling around, and we're all picking up on it somehow. Which, you know, for me, it's important to remember that we in this room are part of a greater collective of consciousness who's holding the story, who's holding the vibration, who's holding this truth that there is oneness, that there is a power greater than anything that we call love, right? That it is thought that is creating reality, that it is our participation in life that causes evolution to unfold. And so I just say that because it's been buoying me up this week to remember that we are in a pool of consciousness who's doing this work together. And I think it's important for us to remember that we're not in this alone. Because I gotta say, this week has been really tough. Right? You know, we talked last week a little bit about what's been happening. The struggle right now, you know, as we all watched a week and a half ago, as someone who has been viciously speaking out against people like me, against people like us, having rights, being able to speak our truth, and then to have violence take that voice out. And now suddenly it's illegal to disagree with that voice or speak out against it. There's a lot of very scary stuff happening in our country right now. And if you look at history, if you look at what happened in Nazi Germany just over 80-something years ago, the playbook is unfolding in front of us, right? One of the first things the Nazis did was shut down the Institute of Gender Studies, which is one of the first places in the world who was doing trans-affirming care and gender work with people. One of the first organizations that was shut down in Germany. What's been happening here is this attack on trans and queer people, right? Then what happens? You take off all of the commentators, the poets, the comedians get taken down. What's happening here? We've crossed a line, folks. And I don't know where this is going. I can see the dominoes falling. I can see what's potentially laying out itself in front of us. And I got to tell you, for the first time, not for the first time, but really the most real, is I suddenly feel that target coming my way. because I am someone who continues to speak truth. And that in the face of lies, I will and we will continue to speak the truth. In this time of darkness, we will continue to shine the light. Right? In this time of fear, we will bring hope. Right? And I'm committed to this. I am absolutely committed to continuing to speak the truth to where it needs to be spoken, because indeed, my friends, this is a time right now where we cannot be silent, where we have got to stand up for our highest truths. We have to stand up for our beliefs. And if that means a target comes our way, so be it. Because there are things I believe in that are more important than my own life. And that is freedom. That is love. That is the ability for us to gather in this space. It is the ability for us to live into our own truth, to have the freedom to self-express and self-identify. And honestly, I'm scared. Because it's just a matter of watching the late-night commentators come off the TV or the radio waves, the internet, whatever we watch these days. You know what's coming next is any news media who disagrees. If you look beyond that, what's going to be next? It's going to be the churches. Right? And so, I don't know what's coming, but what I do know is that there are spiritual principles, practices, and truths that can carry us through any storm. That's right. There. You know, someone in a conversation this week brought up Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, right? And in a concentration camp, in the depths of darkness, watching everyone he knows and loves be murdered, and in the process, sees a flower growing through a crack in the concrete. And in that simple, beautiful little moment, hope emerged. That even in the hardest places, there is a crack. And in those cracks, light and life can come through. Right? And this is someone who we think of Nazi Germany as the epitome of darkness and evil in our human history, many of us, right? And to think of someone who was in that situation and still found hope, still found something deeper, found the capacity to look at the people who were imprisoning him and look at them with compassion. Where there is darkness, let me sow light. This is our job. I don't know if the power of our collective choice and action and activity in this moment is going to change the trajectory of what is happening, but I do know that we as a community, we have each other, we have deeper truths, we have practices, we have ways of connecting and coming together. When we come into this space and we pray and we sing and we celebrate together, it lifts us up. And this is the thing that's going to sustain us no matter what comes our way. It is our deeper truth and it is our love for each other that is going to carry us through this time. And we may not see the other side of what is happening. Some of us may, some of us may not. But the question is, what happens within us? And how do we hold each other as we move through unthinkable circumstances? I've been saying for a while now that I truly believe that the recipe for enlightenment is being handed to each one of us right now. Because if I can see the divinity in the horror, if I can sit with the pain and the hatred and find forgiveness and find love, that work itself will awaken the presence of God in our hearts. Right? And I'm realizing more and more that that's the thing that we are here for in this moment. We are here to sit in the pain. We are here to sit in the darkness. We are here to be with what is unfolding in this world and then invite it to wake us up. Invite it to activate something within us that has been there all along, but has been waiting for the right circumstances to say, now is the time. And suddenly a new vision awakens in our eyes. A new speech comes out of our mouth. A new way of hearing awakens in our ears. A new way of being shows up as us in the world because something more has awakened. And perhaps it's been waiting all along to be pushed to the point where it's finally ready to be activated and awakened. Do you feel that? So this is what I think is our call right now, is to drop ever deeper into the absolute truths that we know are eternal. To court the presence of the divine in absolutely everything we do. I'm so grateful for this song, The Prayer of St. Francis, because I think it speaks to exactly the place we're in right now, right? Dr. King told us, hatred cannot take out hatred, only love can do that. Darkness cannot put out darkness, only light can do that. Right? And so we cannot let the darkness, the hatred, the division, the separation into our hearts, friends. We have been given an opportunity to do deep forgiveness work, to do deep seeing, to ask the deepest possible questions, perhaps the ones we've never even been willing or able to ask before, but they're now being placed in front of us and say, how do I be with this? I know what happens if we do nothing. I don't know what happens if we do something. But that's what's in front of us. There's either an upward battle or a long downhill descent. But either way, there's a journey in front of us. And the thing that I want us to know is that we are equipped for this journey. Each and every one of us has a role to play. And part of that is to hold each other, to be here with and for each other, to continue to deepen as community, because it's community that gives us resilience. It's community that gives us hope. And we know that when we go into desperate situations, if we go in with no hope and no vision, we'll never find our way out. And the despair will overwhelm us. But we know from history, we know from the great inspirers who have come before us, that it's when people find themselves in the most desperate of situations and find a glimmer of light, find a piece of hope, find a vision to hold on to, that is what carries them out. The amount of stories I've heard of people who've been incarcerated who had one tiny little sliver of a window that they're able to at night maybe see one star, or maybe able to see one sliver of a blue sky or a green tree, but that one little sliver in the wall was enough to say, one day I'll be on the other side of this. There's something outside of this situation that I can look to. Even if I can't reach it right now, I can keep looking to it. Because that becomes the vision point. That becomes the hope point. That becomes the thing that can help us. Even when we don't see a way out, we can trust and know, we can believe, we can hope, we can dream, we can pray that there's something on the other side of this. And it's the absolute, rabid conviction to holding that vision that is the thing that will carry us through.
And it's the work.
It is the work. Is to hold the vision, is to do the internal work, to do the forgiveness work, because if we don't, there is so much that's going to overwhelm us. And we have got to continuously clear our hearts, because they are getting mud thrown up all over them every day, and I know I have to wash myself off of this madness every single day. And that's what we do when we come together. It's what we do when we sit in meditation or prayer, when we chant, when we listen to conscious music, when we're in spiritual study. All of those things support us building a mind and opening a heart that's capable of seeing the vision and capable of holding what is. I've said many times, I believe we are living through what I keep calling the proving times. We get to prove to ourselves what we believe is true. We get to prove to ourselves who we really are. And the universe, God, life itself, is giving us every opportunity to be tested. The thing I know is every time I ask God for something, I don't get the thing. I get the opportunity to become the thing. Right? When I ask for patience, I then leave my house and am given all of the opportunities in the world to be patient. Right? And so we say we're here to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and the universe is like, oh yeah? Let's try. Right? And so we're being given opportunities. We're being given opportunities to be love, to be patient, to be forgiveness. We're being given opportunities to have vision, to dream, to look for higher truths. Something more is calling us, and it's hidden in plain sight. And everything that is happening to us is being handed to each one of us. And there's something here for us. And as we look for it, as we find it, we're going to hold each other. We're going to keep cultivating joy. We're going to keep singing. We're going to keep praying. We're going to keep dancing. We're going to keep speaking the truth. We're going to keep coming together. Because what I know is that the power that we are working with and the divinity that lives within each one of us is greater and more powerful than any external source and anything that is seeking to create power over us. We have something within us that is infinite. And we're going to learn to work with it because that's our only choice. Take a deep breath. And let it go. Let's take another breath in together. Breathe in. And let it go. This one's going to be for a sigh. We're going to make a sound. Breathe in. Let it out. And as I hear that exhale, I remember that there is only one who is breathing. For what I know is that there is one life, there is one presence, there is one power, there is one infinite being that I call God. But what I know is that this one is living and breathing throughout the entirety of the universe. This one is spiraling the galaxies and shining the sun and growing the trees. This one is speaking these words. This one is hearing these words. This one is unfolding in, through, and as every life on this planet. Because what I know is that God is all that there is. And that infinite power is available to us when we turn to it. That infinite power is available to us when we remember it. And what I know is that power, it is truth. That power, it is light. That power, it is love. That power, it is wholeness. That power, it is peace. And so I call upon truth. I call upon peace. I call upon love. I call upon it all. As I remind each one of us that as we call upon the divine to bring us these qualities, that then each one of us are guaranteed to receive the opportunities to embody them. Because God may be love, God may be truth, God may be peace. But the only way that truth and that peace and that love shows up in the world is through me, is through each one of us. That we are the outlets for the Spirit of the living God, that we are the way that evolution unfolds, that we know that the arc of the universe bends towards justice, but we also know that we are the ones who bend it. Because we are the hands and the feet, we are the voice of God on earth. And there is no power outside of us, there is no one outside of us, there is only us. We have to do the work, no one's coming. We have to save ourselves. And we do so through our awareness. We do so through our forgiveness. We do so by opening our hearts and opening our minds and looking for the presence of divine everywhere. And so I just speak a word for each one of us right here and right now that I know that we are up for it. I know that each one of us came into this world with purpose, on purpose, for a purpose, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. I know that each one of us came into the world to be here right now because we are part of the change that is needed. We are the ones that the world is waiting for. And so I say yes to that. And I'm grateful for this community who holds each other, who lifts each other up. I'm grateful for the love that is here. I'm grateful for the truth that we speak. I'm grateful for the love that we share. And so it's from this place that I just invite us to relax into the breath, to let go of control for a minute and allow ourselves to be breathed, to feel and know that something greater than we are is breathing our bodies, beating our hearts. There is something greater than we are at work in the world. And so I release and I let go and I surrender to this very moment to just be here now. And so it is.